Hi, my name is Rebecca and I hope you're all doing fabulous. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 things that I think you should know before you go to your first agility class. The first thing you should know for your agility class is that class should be fun. Dog agility is all about connecting with our best friends and spending time with them. So your class should be about improving the relationship with your dog and enjoying your time with them, and they should be enjoying your time with you. So remember that that is the ultimate goal of every class, is to just have fun with your dog and really enjoy your time there. The second thing that I want you to know is that dog agility takes practice. A lot of the skills that you see experienced agility dogs do take weeks, months, and years to perfect. So make sure that as you're teaching your dog these new skills, you remember that you're still a beginner, and that's okay. They don't have to have everything right on the first try, and that you're learning and growing. It's okay to go slow and take things step by step, and that's how you're going to get beautiful agility skills. That leads me to my third point. One of the things you should remember about your dog agility class is some of the people who are in your class aren't actually beginners. There are a lot of people in agility who are very experienced, and they're just repeating a lot of these skills with their baby dogs who haven't done them before. That means that you can be working in a beginner's class with someone who might have a decade or more of experience and has trained this with many dogs before. It's important to remember this because you shouldn't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's. So make sure you're working on the skills that your dog needs. And don't worry, your dog will be looking great in no time. Number 4, be patient. A lot of these skills are not easy. They take a lot of training and preparation and breaking it down stepwise for your dog to learn and understand. It's really important that you go slow and you allow them to take their time and to learn these skills and to become confident in these skills before you move on to the next one. I know it can be really exciting when you see that your dog gets it and you really sometimes want to just move on. It happens to me all the time, and I want to just like, oh, I got it and I want to go ahead. Take your time, be patient, get each layer of your foundation good before, which is number 5. Make sure that you put in your time for foundation. Foundations are so important in dog agility. There's a lot of skills that apply in different areas, whether that's your contact position or even just having basic skills that are like obedience-based, where you have a sit, stay, or a recall, or being able to work at a distance from your dogs. A lot of those skills are very fundamental to all aspects of agility and things that you need to master. So be sure that you're working very diligently on those skills and you keep repeating them. Number 6, make sure you do your homework. As an agility instructor, I always know who is doing their homework between class. This is because when you do your homework and you add to the value of certain skills that we send you to practice at home, you don't even need agility equipment for, we can see it reflected in your training in class. Practicing a lot of these skills, whether it's your obedience or even just basic core skills that you can do with a phone book at home, those are gonna show when you come to class and your dog's like, I know that, I got it, we've done it all week. And it really pays off because you're gonna get more out of your agility class when that happens. Number 7, please take breaks during your agility class, especially if you're working in a group setting where you have multiple dogs training at the same time. It can be really easy to just keep going and working an exercise and working your exercise. Agility is a very physically strenuous sport as well as a mentally strenuous sport, and you don't want to be just keep doing it over and over and over again until the dog gets a little demotivated or tired. So we want to make sure that we're taking breaks in between our sets, so that way every time we come to do a new set, our dog is excited and ready to go. Number 8, making it exciting, that also means you're going to need to be working on your rewards. Always make sure that you bring the good cookies. Anything that your dog likes is what you can use as a reward. It's going to be something that causes the behaviors to repeat. If you're using something like kibble that your dog's maybe like, meh, that's okay, but I mean, I guess I'll do it. That's not the mentality you want for going into agility. If you bring something like cheese or chicken or something your dog really loves, or the little liver dried treats, and your dog's like, oh my God, that is the best thing, I will do anything for it, that is what you want for your agility training. Because that means the next time you get your dog in the car and they're out at agility class, they're like, this is my favorite place in the world because that's where the good things happen. And then what happens is a transfer of value, where those rewards that you bring to agility, then the reward also becomes agility itself because they know what that's going to lead to, which is amazing things. And that's the mentality you want for your dog and your dog training training, and that'll also wear off on you, because when you know it's going to be great and your dog knows it's going to be great, it's just going to be great all around. And that's the kind of fun we like to have. Now that goes along with tip number 9, which is don't always make it harder for your dog. When you're starting at the beginning, it's easy to just go stepwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, and keep working the next sequence and kind of adding one skill to make it a little bit more difficult and add one more skill to your book. Now that's important because you will need those skills in the future, but if it keeps getting hard, it's kind of like math class when it's another thing, it's harder, and eventually you're like, why am I doing this? So make sure you break it up with some easy stuff that you can throw in some great rewards for, and your dog's like, I got this, I'm ready to go. And you add something harder and they're like, I got that too. You throw in an easy thing, they're like, oh, I know that. I'm perfect at that. That's the kind of idea you want between your dogs to be thinking about when they're doing training. The last tip I have for you, tip number 10, is to relax. You don't have to be perfect at class, and it's okay to make mistakes. In fact, we expect it. As trainers, we know that when we train our dogs, it doesn't always start perfect. It doesn't always start right. In fact, it almost never starts out right. When we start training our dogs in a new skill, it's usually pretty ugly. You know, we're taking behaviors that are like, it kind of looks like this or that, and we're just adding steps. And so by the time we add all the pieces together, you get something that looks really beautiful. But that means you have to start somewhere. And that somewhere is usually something very basic, something very rudimentary, and you have to reward that in order to get better. And we know that we're not always going to get the perfect behaviors every time. So we certainly don't expect you to be perfect all the time either, especially starting out. If something happens in training, don't worry, your trainer will help you through it. It's okay to make mistakes, and no one's dog's perfect. Even if your dog does something like run zoomies around class, we've all been there. We get it. Everyone has those days. All dogs have those days, and we're going to help you work to improve your dog's behavior. So those are some of my top tips for starting your new agility class. Let me know what you think or what else you would add in the comment section below. And again, don't forget rule number 1, which is have fun. Happy training.